testimony if something comes in my mind. I was coming from Dallas not long ago, a few years ago, and there come a storm in the air, and I was on one of the airlines, and it come down at Memphis. And so they told me to go up to the limousine was taking me up to the Peabody Hotel. It's a great place. I thought that would be good. At least one time I get to stay in a big hotel, so they was going to pay for it. So they tucked me up and give me a nice room at their expense. So after I'd got settled down, the phone rang. I was writing some letters and fixing to read my Bible and then pray and go to bed.
A plane will be leaving in the morning at 7 o'clock. The limousine will pick you up at 7.
Very well, sir. I hung up and finished my mail and prayed and went to bed. And I had them to call me, and early the next morning I got up. And I thought, I don't want any breakfast. Somehow I just feel like it's a beautiful morning, the sun to come out real pretty. This is springtime. So I thought I'll run down real quick and find a post office box and mail these letters before the limousine picks me up for the airport. And I started out with the letters in my hand going down the street and...
Stop. Go back the other way.
Well, I thought maybe that was an impression. Why would I want to go back that way? So I just kept on going, and it got stronger and stronger until I said, I must pray this might be the Holy Spirit. And happened to pass by a shop that had fishing tackle in it. So I went up in the little doorway there to look for the fishing tackle or act like I was looking for it. And I seen the big Irish cop over there giving signals and letting the people cross. No one around me, and I bowed my head. Lord, was that you speaking to me to go back?
Turn and go back.
I was sure it was God. So I turned and started walking. Walking, and I just kept on walking. Finally, I found myself down in the colored district. I looked at my watch, and it was 10 minutes after 7. Oh, I thought I'd missed my plane. But something just kept urging me, go on, just keep on moving. As we went on down the street, he was leading me along, and oh, it was a beautiful morning. The sun was rising high now, and the roses was blooming down in I was going along there. I did not know no more where I was going than just going along, led by the Spirit. I thought, oh, I've done missed my plane, so I'll just catch another one. I'm in no hurry anyhow. Got 3 or 4 days for another meeting. I just kept on walking along, just thinking, Lord, I don't know where you're taking me to, maybe a place of prayer. I passed by a bunch of little shacks like where some of the colored people live. I looked leaning across a gate. She was leaning out a typical Aunt Jemima with a man's shirt tied around her head. Great big fat cheeks. She was looking down the street when I come up. Great big smile across her face. I stopped humming.
Good morning, Parson.
How do you do, Eddie? She just started grinning, the great big tears running off of those cheeks. How did you know I was a parson?
I know just coming.
Auntie, how did you know I was coming?
Well, I'll tell you how it was, Parson. Did you ever read that story in the Bible about the Shunammite woman who the Lord gave a baby by the promise Elijah the prophet gave her?
Oh, sure, I'm well acquainted with the story. It just preached on a few weeks ago.
Ours was that kind of woman. And I didn't have any children. And a husband and I wanted a baby so bad. And I prayed, and the Lord gave me this baby, and I told him I'd dedicate the baby to him, and said I was washed over the wash. I was a washwoman in this district. I raised that boy the best of my knowledge to love the Lord. But he got out in the wrong company, and he'd taken a social disease. We didn't know nothing about no social disease. And our boy got sicker and sicker, and finally we take him to the doctor, man, and he said there's no hopes for him. He's gone. That the venereal disease had got into his bloodstream and eaten up the parts of his heart. And when his blood would pump up, so much of it dropped back through the bowels, and his heart was eaten off by the disease. And said the doctor man said there was no chance for him. And said he's laying him there on the bed. And said he's been unconscious now for 2 days. And said, I just can't stand to see my baby die like that. And I prayed all night last night. Lord, you just give me the baby, but where is the Elisha?
You can imagine how I felt. I thought, Lord, is this it? I never said a word. I said to her about being led over there.
My name is Branham. Did you ever hear of me?
Oh, sir, I don't believe I ever did.
How did you know I was coming?
I went to sleep about 3 o'clock this morning, and I dreamed that I saw a man coming, wearing a tan suit with a little western hat stuck over on one side of his head. He had some letters in his hand. Said the Lord said, go out and wait for him. She says, I've been standing here ever since.
I patted on her back, and her back was wet with dew. It was true. And I said, well, my ministry is praying for the sick, Auntie. She wasn't interested in that. She said, won't you come in? She opened up that little old gate with a plow point hanging on a chain. I walked into that little old hut that morning, little 2-room hut. No rug on the floor nor nothing, a little old poster bed. Cracks in the floor big enough that the wind would just sweep up through it. I looked on the wall, it was not pin-ups. It was a little motto on the wall, God bless our home. A little old chunk stove set in the corner, and on this poster bed laid a fine-looking big man, looked like he'd go about 170 pounds and some 6 foot tall. And he had the blanket in his hand going, Oh, it's dark, he said. I said, what's he saying? She said, Parson, he's been talking about the last 2 days since he's been unconscious. Said in his unconsciousness he thinks he's in a great sea somewhere, lost in the dark. And he's pulling a boat trying to find land. And I can't stand to see my baby die like that, Parson. She went over, stroked his head, kissed him, and said, God bless Mammy's baby. I got down on the floor to pray. She got down by the side of his head, and I got down by his feet, and I touched his feet. It seemed like it was cold, sticky. Certainly death was on the boy. I said, Auntie, being that you are the mother of the boy, won't you pray first? She said, certainly, Parson. She bowed her head, and you talk about a prayer. You could tell it wasn't learned in some school. It come from the bottom of her heart. Speaking to God, you could tell she'd talked to Him before. She knew what she was speaking about. When she got through praying, she wiped her eyes, the old apron she had on, and she looked over to me. I said, I'll pray now, Auntie. I put my hands over on his feet. I said, Lord, I don't know what to say. Is this why you made me miss my airplane? to come down here to pray for this woman's boy? If it is, oh Lord, let it be known that you're God and you'll respect her prayers and her sincerity. And about that time, that big fella said, oh, Mama, said it's getting light in the room now. The darkness is going away. In a few minutes, he was sitting on the side of the bed talking to us. I rushed out quickly, thumbed a cab, went to the airport, and when I got into the gate, they was making the last call for that plane. That God had held that plane on the ground by the faith of a woman that probably didn't know her ABC. Some poor dark. About 2 years after that, I was going to Phoenix on the train. I was going through Memphis. I'd never heard of them anymore. Now I started walking real fast. I heard somebody say, hello there, Parson Branham. I looked over at a little red cap standing there, batting his eyes, come running over to me. I said, how you do, young man? He said, you don't know me, do you? I don't believe I do. Said, about 2 years ago, one morning, you come down to my house. I said, you're